everybody. So Passover is upon us, and so we thought it would be a fun thing to try and make matzah. And for any of you who are celebrating Passover and want to give this a try, it looks like a really easy recipe. So full disclosure, we have not made this before, so we're trying this with you guys, right along with you guys. And this is specifically, who are we making the matzah crackers for? Who are we making crackers for tonight? Liam, who are we making the crackers for? Cheryl. So our really good friend Cheryl Prashker, who is in the band RUNA with us, and she is our percussionist. She plays the drums. She's been having a lot of trouble finding matzah right now because of everything going on in the world. And so she lives up in Godrich, Ontario, and she's having a lot of trouble. So we thought we would try and make her some. So if this works, then Cheryl, this is for you. We will be mailing you some tomorrow. So we're going to see how we do. Okay, so just before we start, tell everybody, if you want to try and make this as a kosher recipe, you have to do this within 18 minutes. So we'll see if we can do that. If not, if it doesn't have to be kosher, then you can kind of take your time. Hello, everybody. So we're going to give it a go. All right, so for our measurements, we need 2 1/4 cups of flour. So can you help me? Let's measure 2 1/4 cups of flour. Ready? So 1, whoops. 1. 2. 2. Very good. And then we need 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup. Here we go. And put that in. Then we're going to have a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. So again, if you want it to be kosher, it needs to be kosher salt. 1/2 teaspoon, ready? Okay, pour that in. And we need 1 tablespoon of olive oil. You can get mild flavored olive oil. They said that's the best kind. Okay, so pour it carefully. Help me pour it in. Okay, and we'll mix that up before we put the water in. Okay. We put the oil in, yep. Put the flour and the salt and the oil in. Okay, and when you're going to put the water in, thank you, good, that's great, thank you, sir. So then we're going to put, can you mix this up for me? Nice job. Let's roll your sleeves up. All right, so you're going to put kind of somewhere in between 1/3 and 1/2 cup of warm water. You're going to pour in. There you go. And you're going to mix that up. And you can, so you start with that and you start mixing it up.
No, Mama.
Just a moment.
No, Mama, hold on it.
Yeah, I'll help you and then you can do it on your own. So we're going to start with that first bit of warm water. Oh, thank you, Dada. Start with that first bit of warm water between 1/3 and 1/2 cup. Excuse me, 1/4 and 1/3 of a cup of water. And then most likely the dough will probably still be fairly dry. And so up to another 1/4 cup of warm water you can add it but a little bit by little bit.
No, a little bit?
Little bit by little bit. So you don't want to put all of it in all at once. And so you add that until the dough forms. Should we try some more?
Yeah.
Okay, try some more. Help Mama pour it in. Not the whole thing. Just so we're going to keep adding a bit more water because our dough is still pretty dry. And the recipe says you can start using your hands.
No, Mama,
Are you going to use your hands too? Nice. Thank you.
it.
Cheryl is going to be eating it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for Cheryl tonight. So hopefully it'll taste good. We'll see. We'll have to see. Okay, and it looks like we still need a bit more water, so we'll add just a little bit more water in. And like we said, keep adding that water a little bit at a time because you don't want to make it too wet of a dough. That's what the recipe was saying. And you can see it's starting to form together. Nice.
Ball in.
Roll it into a ball. So we'll add just a little bit more. That's enough. No more. No more. We don't want any more. Don't want it to be too wet.
Wet.
Wet. We don't want it to be too wet.
We do it.
We don't want it to be too wet. Good. And so you can see starting to form a ball together. Okay. We'll add more of that later on. Thank you, sir. All right. So once you've finished your ball of dough, kind of set it aside for a moment and move your bowl out of the way. And you're going to take a board and flour it so that you can roll the dough out. Now, the recipe says that if you have a pasta cutter or pasta maker, that you can use it for this. We do have one of those, but we realize that not everybody has one, so we'll just show it rolling it by hand. And I suppose if you want to be kind of historically accurate about it, they wouldn't have had pasta rollers back in the day either. So we're going to do it by hand this evening. Cheryl's going to eat it. Is that for her? A little bitty bite. All right, so you're going to divide your dough into 4 pieces to work with. Okay, and cut it with Mama. Yeah, so here's one. Cut in half again. Nice job. And again. Okay, good. And we'll set the cutter aside. All right, so you're going to start working with 1 piece at a time. Okay. Should Mama work with this piece? Do you want to work with another piece? Yeah, okay.
Mommy.
All right. You put this down here? All right. Is this your rolling pin?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to work with, we'll work with 2 rolling pins at the moment. And you want to be able to roll your dough as absolutely flat as it can get. So this can be a bit of a tough process and a sticky process. So this is why you don't want your dough to be too wet to start with, because you don't want it to be sticking too much. So keep adding. Nice job. So this can be something that if you've got older kiddos helping you, this is a good project for them, or a good part of the process for them to be working on. And continue rolling out until it gets really thin and really stretch out. So it'll probably wind up being around the size of this board to begin with. And don't be surprised if it kind of gives you a hard time as you're doing that too. So if you have ever made homemade pasta, which maybe we'll do on this show at some point, if you've ever made homemade pasta, it is a tougher process. The dough is tougher because there's not a whole lot to it. And so it will kind of be resistant. Just be kind of persistent with it and keep going and keep adding flour. How you doing there, dude? So, as I'm rolling this out, you should be preheating your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my, 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you have a pizza stone, they said kind of the best results are, ooh, no, definitely not. That's definitely not kosher.
I'll eat it.
Cheryl will eat it, yeah.
Not Liam.
Not Liam. So preheat your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have a pizza stone, they said that's kind of the best. Yep, we'll do this piece in a minute. That's kind of the best result. But if you don't have a pizza stone, it's not to worry. Or a baking stone, that's not to worry. Just get a regular kind of baking sheet ready as well. You want to say hello, everybody?
Say hello.
You say hello.
Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
everybody. Okay, so we've rolled out our dough to where it's really, really thin. Yeah, well, that is our next step, okay? So we're going to take a pizza roller cutter, to try and make our lines, I suppose, as straight as we possibly can. Hang on, no grabbing, no grabbing. So you want to cut around the edges, just trying to kind of make it into a big rectangle, and then we're going to make it into a few other smaller rectangles. Ready to help me?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're cutting, where do we put our hands? Where does this hand go? On your belly to keep it out of the way. Good job. Okay, and you hold on to this with Mama. Ready? Ready? Okay, here we go. So we're just going to kind of trim the edges a little bit. And scooch that off. And this side too. Ready? Trim the edges. So ours aren't perfect, and that's okay. It won't affect the taste. We're going to turn this around a little bit. Okay, trim this side, ready? All the way to the end, good. And then wait a second, then we'll do this side, okay? And all the way to the end. And having a wooden cutting board underneath is really helpful because you can get just really straight lines. Let go for a second. All right, so then you want to cut it into rectangles. So as you've seen, rectangles, so long rectangles. So we're just going to cut them straight across like this and leave them that length, but truly you can cut them to whatever size you want. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Alright.
Next one.
Alright.
All the way to the end. And last one. All the way to the end. Good. Okay, we'll set this aside. And then what do we need? Do we need to poke holes in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we need? A fork. Okay, so when you're doing this, you need to let the steam out of the crackers. You're going to poke holes in them. And obviously, if you're getting them at the store, it's probably pretty uniform in how the holes are if you're baking with babies. Depends on the babies and how uniform you may get them.
Baking with babies.
Baking with babies. So poke enough holes that it's going to let the steam out. Otherwise, you will get a really, really big pocket for each of your crackers. You want to try to do it on your own? Yeah, so space them out. Yeah. Well, Cheryl will know that we made these for sure. All right, so you want to do that with all of your crackers, and then we'll see you at the next step. Okay, so for this next part, when you're actually putting the matzah into the oven, I would recommend this part be without babies, perhaps, because the baking time is really, really fast because of how thin the crackers are. So it's anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds is what the recipe says. So we'll see how quickly that goes. But I would absolutely recommend that this be an adult-only part of the venture. So we do have a baking stone. So we're going to take our crackers, and it's really, you can put however many on, you can put however many onto the baking stone that you want, essentially that can fit on there. So let's see if we can scooch them off. And you want them until you get that kind of traditional bubbly brown that you see on the matzah crackers. Let's see if I can scooch this up on here. But as you can already see, some of them, they're starting to bubble a little bit already. So you want to put them in there, keep an eye on them, and flip them over pretty soon after. So literally put them in for about 30 seconds, check them, flip them over. You can use tongs or you can use a spatula to do that. So we'll check in about 30 seconds, see how we're doing, and flip them over, and we'll see how it goes. Good luck, everybody. All right, so we're gonna double check, see how everything's going. We've waited about 60 to 90 seconds, checked it a couple times, it didn't seem quite right. Here you go, so you can see it kind of starting to blister. So let's see if we flip it over. Yeah, look, that's kind of looking like matzah. And we have it where we've got an additional pizza stone over top of it, so perhaps it's helping it take a little bit longer as well. Yeah, that one's actually coming across really nicely. I'm going to turn, just because our oven tends to be a little hotter towards the back, maybe because it's away from the door, I'm going to just flip these around to try and get them a bit more evenly. So if you can manage to get the dough pretty thin, they said it should be pretty like traditional matzah. If it's a little bit thicker, it's almost like kind of cream crackery. So let's see, scoot it back in, check it after another 30 seconds. If you want to add salt to it, we did it without salt this time. If you want to add salt to it, just kind of spray it or brush it with a little bit of water and then sprinkle some kosher salt on top of it too. So give it a try, see how we do. Alrighty folks, we are going to check it in the oven for one last time. I think we've turned it around a couple of different times. It's looking really good, guys. It's looking like matzah. Alright, so be careful taking it out because it will be pretty hot. So technically our version is not... I am taking it out. So technically baking with babies, it's probably not kosher. I think we've definitely crossed the 18-minute mark. But for first time try, it's doing okay. Dude, you want to come see? Come here. Come see.
No.
That's pretty good.
Ready.
It is ready. Who's that for?
Tara.
Cheryl. Can you say Happy Passover, Cheryl?
Happy Passover. Tara.
Yeah.
Maybe eat medicine.
Should we try it?
Yeah.
Should we try it and see how it is? It sounds like matzah. Oh, it's still hot. Still hot. Take a tiny bite. Yes. Mm-hmm. Happy Passover, everybody. Good luck baking. Nice job, dude.